Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Let's Get Gritty podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. Thrilled to be here with you guys. Happy Thursday. Hope things are working out for you, and I hope that you are doing well as you're preparing for summer and that you're meeting any goals that you have set in stone. Now, with that said, I'm going to transition. The Let's Get Gritty podcast with Dr. India White will be featured on Spotify and all of the main social media platforms. My social media platforms for your view, in case you don't have them yet. Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White 123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. Check out my website, www.india-white.com for books, blogs, or to schedule me for any speaking or coaching events. Speaking of events, I can't wait to see some of you guys at these events listed down here. FCTM conference is coming up in June, along with the NCTM NCTE conference, which I think might be first, which is in Chicago. Then we'll see you guys at Camped in Texas. Then we'll see you at the 2 national conferences in Atlanta. Looking forward to speaking, presenting, and mingling with so many amazing people that are really pushing the wheel of math education forward across our nation. Also, please check out the Grit Mini Workshop on the Grassroots Workshops website. Also, there is the Grit Academy for tutoring opportunities if you need it. So feel free to reach out to me and see how I can work with you and my team, how we can get some things done for you. Also, remember the Grit calendar, which I absolutely love that thing. It is very resourceful. So check out the Grit calendar. You can find it on my website whenever you get a chance. There's a digital version, and then there's a hard copy for you as well. So with that said, you know me, I love talking about grit. I love seeing how can we be gritty in every area of our life, not just, in the classroom. And so because I know we're ending the school year, I do want to come on and talk with our amazing rock star educators, teachers, principals, even people in the community about gritty self-care. Again, we're going to talk about gritty self-care. And so I'm bringing this show on because we're hitting summer. Many teachers are trying to figure out what they're going to do to, have income for themselves and their families over the summer. So I know that's a big concern. Some are going into another profession. Some are going back to school. Some are doing a side hustle, side business, and beyond. Others just don't know. I know some people are dealing with kind of coming down from a very eventful year, maybe had some stressors throughout the year. And so some teachers are unplugging, and, that also deals with us having to reflect about our health. Some of us are dealing with losses. We've had some losses throughout the year. I know personally in my family, we've had some wild losses lately. And it's something that you have to kind of deal with as it comes. Some things you can't plan, but some things, you can successfully kind of deal with it as it comes your way. But even though you can't control everything, you can still set yourself up to be prepared for any, last minute emergencies or any tragic situations. So we're going to talk today, guys, about how do we have gritty self-care for ourselves. So I'm going to start with my heart, and then I'm going to lead us into what I found on the web for us. Okay. So first things first, tips for conquering self-care. For one, you need reflection. I feel like we cannot go through life with our head in the sand, right? Feeling like, oh, I just don't need to know about it. I just need to be blind. I knew somebody like this who they would not listen to real world events because they said it was such a downer for them that they would rather be ignorant and not know. Well, for instance, if you did that today and you're going to the store and you're not keeping up with what's going on in the world, You're going to be surprised when you see that there have been some raises in prices on some of the consumer goods, and you're like, what's going on? Well, this is why we have to reflect. We have to take everything in and know what our situation is. And bringing it back to you, okay? I'm talking to you. So, the rock star that you are, reflection is not a bad thing. Reflection is not a session where you just sit down and beat yourself up and talk about how horrible you think you are and how you made so many mistakes. No, reflection is an opportunity for you to see where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. For me, a strength might be writing. I love to write. It might be speaking. I love to speak. Put me in front of as many people as you got. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. But a weakness might be going to art class or singing, or I don't know, but those are two of my main weaknesses, I would say. So, I would say that it's nothing wrong with me, for instance, because I'm not a strong singer. There's nothing wrong with me because I'm not an expert artist. You know what I mean? It's just who I am. And there's nothing wrong with you, for instance, if you're not a good speaker, or maybe you get nervous. I know some people get nervous going in front of crowds. Me, not really. I could go right now in front of a football stadium and wouldn't even blink an eye. I wouldn't even, I might get a little bit nervous, but I'm going to knock it out of the ballpark because that's my strength. That's my gift, right? But if you tell me to sing, I'm going to get a little nervous. And I think that, there's nothing wrong with you. For instance, if you're not a strong speaker, you're just different. That's just you. So reflection is your way of being honest about the cards that you have in life. A part of that is also being practical and realistic. So if you're talking about you're wanting to maybe you've got goals of maybe relaxing more, or maybe having more energy, maybe you want to work out more, maybe you want to save and budget, maybe you want to plan a vacation for the family or for yourself or your friends. And being realistic, if you only have, say, $250 saved, I don't think planning a trip to Dubai this summer would be a wise idea, right? I think being realistic of what do I have in front of me, what do I have, to work with, and then planning around what you have to work with. Now, hey, you might not be able to go to Dubai, but you could have a picnic on the beach and live it up there. It's another option, and it's feasible, it's doable, it's still a wonderful time. You can make memories, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And then, being realistic about our health and what are we taking into our spirits, our beings. Who are we allowing to have a say or a voice in our life? Who are we believing, right? And then what are we dismissing? What are we allowing to kind of leave our ear gates and our eye gates because we know it's not serving us? Being realistic with that, being practical. If I say I want to lose weight, a realistic goal might be to lose 20 pounds in a month versus I want to lose 100 pounds in a month, right? Just being realistic and then asking for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help and letting people know that you're in need. You have an idea, you're starting a new business, you're writing a book. Let people know so that people can work with you. There's some type of deception sometimes that we go through as leaders, as people, where we feel like people won't help you. Like you feel like asking for help is weak and people won't help you with that great idea. And I want to encourage you to kind of work beyond those fears. That should have been another pointer. But work beyond your fears and give people a chance to be a part of your life. Of course, you've got to weed out some people, right? But for the most part, weed out, the people that just, they're not bad people. They're just not on your wavelength. They're just not in that, they're not going where you're trying to go, right? And focus on those that are there and those that just, they're there and they've got good energy and they're dreamers for you. They're dreamers with you. And then planning for your future. So, write out a plan. What is your plan for your life? Teachers, leaders. There's one thing to say, okay, this year, this is my vision board. This is what I'm going to do. What about 5 years from now? What is your plan? How much do you want to save? How much do you want to travel? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to get married? Do you want to lose weight? What is your plan? Write it out and challenge yourself with it. And then next, plan for your future. What's your next milestone year? Are you turning 40? Are you turning 50? Are you turning 70? I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing out numbers. Are you turning 30? Like, what are your plans that would lead to that, right? Do you have a family? What are your plans for your family? Do you have children? Do you want them in college? Do you want them in the military? Like, what's going on? And then prepare for life, which kind of goes right into all of this. How are you preparing for life? Are you prepared to live? Are you prepared to retire? Are you prepared to die? And I don't say this to be weird. Are you prepared that if you passed away, your family's going to be okay and people aren't going to be caught off guard and, not knowing what to do or, whatever? Are you ready to live? Are you ready to retire? And are you ready for when you die? If something, I don't know, if we live for that. But anyways, so now I want to share my screen and I'm going to talk about some tips for financial care. And then we're going to talk about some other things, tips for care.
Care is the things that feel deeply uncomfortable while you're doing them, but that ultimately like make your life easier. Is the going to therapy and bawling your eyes out. Self-care is having a hard conversation with a friend, going to the gym, and looking at your money. It's the things that probably don't feel good in the moment, but ultimately make future you's life better. And the example I give in the book is like me cleaning my kitchen before I go on a trip. Like, I do not want to do it, but I will tell you, the moment I get home from the trip and I have clean counters, like, I am so thankful to past me for doing the things she didn't want to do so that future me's life is better.
I like that. Let's keep listening to her.
And we're talking about financial self-care, when we're talking about actually getting honest with ourselves about our purchases, about our spending decisions, right? About where we're at with our financial goals, about actually setting financial goals in the first place, about actually feeling like we're progressing. One of the things that happens is we avoid this financial self-care because it feels too hard. It's a lot easier to bury our heads in the sand and act like our problems don't exist. And we call this in the book the ostrich effect. This is a very well-known phenomenon in the personal finance community, which is my debt is too high and my spending's too crazy and I just don't want to look. So I'm just going to ignore my bills, right? And I'm going to ignore everything that's going on. But the truth is, I need you to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I need you to, without shame and judgment, start actually looking at your money as a way of bettering your life. I know that it feels more comfortable right now to just ignore it. Like, I know, because I talk to you all and you're like, I don't want to.
So she's talking to us educators, to everyone, about just being honest and looking at where we stand when you're preparing for life, preparing for your future. So I think it's very interesting what she's talking about. So let's listen to a little bit more, and then I have some other things I want to share.
Everything we're doing, we are setting our goals and we're checking our progress towards them, right? So for me, my 100K goal at 25, that was the big goal that I was striving towards for a really long time. Now for me, less of my goals are personal and they're more about the business. They're more about making sure that I and HFK has enough money to support the things we're trying to produce, to pay our people well, to make sure that we have enough money to support the business, not just for now, but into the future. How do we use money as a tool to build a life that we love? And whether you're single or coupled, you can ask yourself this question. How do we use money as a tool to build a life that we love? And actually work backwards. These conversations in your money date don't have to start with, and shouldn't start with, you're overspending money or you're putting too much money on a credit card, or like, it can start with, we love travel and that's a really important thing to us, and we want to travel at least twice every year. How do we use money as a tool to get there, right? Or we want to have children in the next 5 years. How do we use money as a tool to get there? Or we want to start our own businesses or have more flexibility in how we work. How do we use money as a tool in order to get there? Like, starting with the thing you actually want, and then realizing that money can just be a tool, right? It can just be the thing that helps you get there rather than.
Okay, so she was saying a lot to us, and it was very interesting to hear about that. And to be honest, as educators, we don't really talk a lot about our money, do we? We talk more about students, graduation. Does this kid, are they going to graduate? Are they on track? Is the student behind? Do I have resources and accommodations? But then we get to the summer months, and some of us are trying to figure it out. How are we going to live? How are we going to do this? Teaching's my only thing, And so, I'm a single parent. I've been a single mom for so long. And I also have to have those conversations of, how am I going to make good financial choices so that I can also provide for my children and I. And I think that all of us need to start having these conversations. How can we win and have the life that we want by self-care? And part of that self-care is how we are utilizing our finances, so I think it's pretty interesting. She was talking about that. Waltz. And it says, welcome to Walt's self-care tips. And so here's some tips that he has for us. You can scan the QR code there to find out what he's got going on. So it says, notice stress within your body. Deliberately tense and relax large muscle groups. Begin with your toes, moving to your legs, your torso, arms, neck, and facial muscles. Tense each set of muscles, hold the tension, and slowly release the tension and notice the difference. Nice. Next, he says, acknowledge emotions. Try to describe and observe feelings, bodily sensations, and thoughts without judgment. That's so important. Engaging in self-soothing practices, like she was talking about a little bit, and reward yourself for something daily. Okay. Next, listen to music. Select music that is calming and soothing for you because it can activate your social safety system. Speaking of music, so word on the street is that you can listen to Beethoven. I think it's the Fifth Symphony, and it actually helps to heal cancer, something like that. It contributes to healing cancer, something like that. So they found a study of people that listened to it. They started seeing great signs of healing versus, I guess the other group that did not listen to Beethoven. So I don't know. Look that up. Let's get back to this. So he says, engage your senses, breathe, deliberately breathe more deeply and slowly using long, slow exhalations. Option, slow your rate of breathing to 6 breathings per minute. On in breath, focus on raising the belly and not the chest. I like it. And then it says here, view pictures. I like that. Choose those linked to warmth, joy, or sense of peace. Possibly select pictures of family, loved ones, pets, landscapes, or whatever provides your comfort. Visualize and reflect. So what does self-care look for you? Picture yourself practicing self-care. And then practice mindfulness. So those are some other tips that he has there. And then, of course, there's some things that you could do. Let me see if I can find something online for you guys real quick. So, for instance, it said looked at scenes. So I found one for you guys. Feel free to steal this. I think it's absolutely fabulous. So here's one. Play this when your students are working on assignments. You display this in your room while you're getting ready for the day. It's fabulous, and it's like, I don't know, it just gets you there. You want to go in the water, go on a fireplace. It's just wonderful. And then and the birds. It's nice. You can sit there and read a book. So that's not bad. I like that. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys just to kind of get an idea of what this guy Walt is talking about. And let's get back to his. I thought that was a nice scene. I don't know about you, but I kind of want to lay out there and lounge out with the cat and enjoy a piece of fruit and then jump in the water. I don't know. It just lets your mind go there, Anyway, so let's go back to this. Some things here. Oh, and he has it in Spanish. Represent. Love it. Listen. Escucha música. Yeah. All right. Recognize your emotions. Observe images. Practice. Okay. Nice. So, wonderful. This is www.waltzwaltz.com. This is wonderful. So I'm going to stop sharing that. And I'm going to go now to another 10 financial tips every educator should know. So it says, start fresh. Why educators should re-examine their finances this year. So as the year begins, it is the perfect time for educators to take a closer look at their finances and set themselves up for success. I really don't think the education department is doing enough for that. But anyway, it says many educators find themselves balancing tight budgets, navigating periods without pay during summer months, or using personal funds for classroom supplies. I've been there. Okay, and it says here, whether you're looking to build an emergency fund, maximize your retirement savings, or spend smarter, these money tips for teachers can help you make the most informed decisions and start the year off strong. Now, they're talking about starting the year off strong. You can do this even finishing the year, which is, I just did a podcast on finishing the year strong. Number 1, create a monthly budget, teachers. So a monthly budget empowers educators to track their expenses, prioritize their needs, and plan for the future goals. Whether that's saving up for professional development, which we have some this summer, taking a well-deserved vacation, or simply managing the cost of classroom supplies. Next thing, okay, it says the importance of budgeting, because with a budget, you can gain control over your finances, plan for irregular expenses, right? Set savings goals, reduce your financial stress. Then they talk about how to create, this is wonderful, a budget, track your income and expenses, set spending limits. And listen, don't beat yourself up when you're doing this. Pat yourself on the back because you are doing this, right? So continue set spending limits, use the 50-30-20 rule. So allocate 50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for savings or debt repayment. Beautiful. Adjust percentages based on personal circumstances. Then 3, plan for professional costs. Okay. 4, automate savings. Automate your transfers and savings to accounts to ensure consistent contributions, even on tight months. And then it says here, you need a budget. YNAB encourages users to allocate every dollar to a specific purpose. Mint, look at this. Mint is a free app that syncs with bank accounts for tracking spending budget, or setting budget limits, and providing alerts for overspending. Fabulous. Every dollar that offers a zero-based budget approach to where every dollar is assigned a job. Good budget. Good budget uses an envelope budgeting system. I've heard of this. It's ideal for people who prefer the more visual way to manage expenses. And then spreadsheets for those who prefer customization, Google Sheets, or Excel templates. So I'm going to leave that displayed for a little bit so you guys can see that. And you can take advantage of that. Like you want to download the Mint app or, every dollar or whatever. These are resources. Now it says budgeting tips for teachers. 1, consider your seasonal income fluctuations. So if you receive 10 or 12 months if you're opting for the 10-month pay schedule, then you need to plan ahead for your summer months without income. Very true. 2, take advantage of discounts. Many businesses offer discounts for educators on everything from classroom supplies, there's education foundations, there's all kinds of stuff. And then build an emergency fund, aim for at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses to cover unexpected costs like medical bills or car repairs. I can relate to the car repairs. The next one, set savings goals. So your savings goals are essential for achieving financial security and stability, especially for educators working within a structured salary framework. Okay, so the importance of that is because it's going to help you with it. It's usually referred to as an emergency fund, but it helps that costs don't get derailed in monthly budgets or lead to debt. Your months, you don't know. Financial experts recommend setting aside at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in an emergency fund. For educators, this fund is particularly critical during summer months if income is received on a 10-month schedule and if the unknown is happening, which is happening literally every day with our society. So it's imperative, teachers, that we get a hold of this. Other short-term saving examples: classroom supplies or technology upgrades, professional development courses or certifications, family or travel vacations. So the importance of long-term savings, you want to do things like this. And here are some options. Retirement savings. If you're wanting to retire, you can enroll in a pension plan, right? And talk to your, FRS system or whatever it is that you're with. And in that, you have options. You can have a 403B plan or an IRA or Roth IRA, right? So it talks about a 403B. It's a retirement account for educators and nonprofit employees. Or a Roth IRA or IRA individual retirement account. It offers tax advantages and are excellent supplement to a pension. Starting early allows you to benefit from compound interest, where savings will grow exponentially over time. So I hope you guys are doing something like this. Big ticket goals, right? So planning for major milestones like purchasing a home, funding your future's education, right? Which I'm there. So I hope you guys are there too, some of you. And achieving personal goals. So those are big ticket goals. So how then can you automate your savings, teachers? Set up direct deposits from your paycheck to a savings account or to capital. So capital. And then employer retirement plans. Okay. Tips for educators for saving. You can leverage your employer's benefits. So you can match, some employers will match your 403B contributions. Prioritize debt repayment alongside savings. Separate your accounts for different goals. I like that. Use high yield savings accounts or emergency funds. Create multiple savings accounts for specific purposes, like one for professional development, one for your vacation, one for, your children. Start small and increase over time. Begin with manageable contributions, even if it's $25 per paycheck. Okay? Don't feel overwhelmed. And then it says the benefits of this is you get financial security, peace of mind, flexibility. Listen, this is just amazing. And I can literally probably talk to you guys about this all day. So I'm going to instead just finish off there. This was fabulous. Parallel is the name of the site. So if you're interested in that, check them out when you get a chance. But listen, self-care is more than just having a Arnold Palmer on the beach in Dubai. Okay. Self-care is also understanding that you and your family are okay financially, that you're okay emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, that you're loved and that you're loving yourself and that you are learning to say yes to yourself in the areas that matter and you're saying no to yourself in areas that matter as well. So with that said, we covered a lot with that. I appreciate you guys again joining me on this wonderful podcast, the Let's Get Gritty podcast. Until next time, stay gritty. See ya.